So this is one I'm definitely going to be putting up on to my channel once I'm done with this live stream. So it's been an interesting last hour. I want to start with this live stream. For those who have never seen my channel and never watched anything to do with me, basically since I was about 11 years old, I've had issues with PMS and hormones and my periods and cramps and mood swings and serious depressions because of it, and I've been through very nearly every single pill the NHS offers. I'm very serious on that. I'm literally about to go on the last available pill I have at hand, which is Yasmin, because what I was hoping was going to work has successfully failed miserably, to say the least. Again, so where to start? I started off on pills when I was about 11, and you go through the usual ones. So you go through Rivagon and I'm trying to think of the other ones that I've been on, and they're all in the same packets, and they've all got really annoying names. But the main ones I remember are Rivagon, Milanette, Cerazette, low estrogen, and I'm about to go into Yasmin. So, just off the bat, you've got Getarel, and I've tried both Getarels, 75, 150, and 30, 150. I've tried both of those, so that's 2. I've tried both Milanettes, both dosages. I've tried low estrogen in both dosages, that's 6 pills. I've tried Cerazette in 1 dosage, which is the one I've just been on. I tried Rivagon for on 8, and I'm about to go on to Yasmin, which will be 9, and I know for a fact I tried about 4 pills before I went on to Rivagon. So I have literally run out of pills to try. And sadly, because I haven't made it to 10 years, cycling back through them isn't likely to have many better results. So that's always good. You might notice from the title of the video, though, that this isn't about the pills I've taken. It's more about the not so common side effects that are kind of brushed under the mat and hidden, and it angers me. Now, I'm a real oddball. If there's a chance I'll react to something, or I'll get a side effect from something, even if it's 1 in a million, the chances are I'll probably get that side effect, because that's how I am. Common side effects, everyone kind of gets them at some point. You just kind of ignore them, brush them under the mat, they're not that bad. Not so common side effects are slightly more complicated. So, a lot of my friends who might watch this will already know the trauma I went through in 2016, 2017, 2018. Whilst I was at college, I just left high school, and I was getting horrendous period cramps, horrendous PMS again, and I was not coping with it at all, and we decided to put me onto Getarel. And I'm starting on this one because this is the one that's had the least effect in the end, and you might be shocked by that by the time you hear the end of this bit. So I went on to Getarel in late 2016, and for about 3 months it was going fine. Then all of a sudden I started getting irritated by cleaning products and stronger perfumes, and by the end of the summer of 2017 I was thoroughly allergic to what I can only describe as most unfortunately enough, most of the stuff around me. I couldn't walk past a vapor, I couldn't walk into makeup stores because there was perfume testers, I couldn't go shopping because people were wearing perfume, I couldn't go to nightclubs and anything like that. And by the end of 2017, I was genuinely trapped with what the doctors called reactive asthma. So I don't have asthma, I've never had asthma, I've never had symptoms of asthma. I can run, I can do sports, I don't particularly get out of breath, I have no issues with my breathing. But the second I have contact with perfume, not only does my body try and close up, but it sends itself into an asthma attack. It genuinely just forgets how to breathe. And it's pretty terrifying, and it meant that and I still have a fair few and I still wear them when I go into high-risk situations because I never know if it's just gone dormant or if it's there, if I'm going to react again. And it meant I was wearing fog masks, and I actually swapped over to Cambridge masks after my first fog because I found that the Cambridge masks actually fit my face slightly better. Now, noted that at this point I'm 17, 18, so, you know, I'm literally just becoming an adult. I'm about to be able to go drinking in the UK, and I can't. I genuinely can't. I'm put on some seriously strong asthma meds to try and control it, to reduce the amount of reactions I have. They have no effect at all. The only thing they do is sort of help me recover from it. Because at its worst, if I had an attack, I would be ill within the week and I would be severely exhausted for about 4 days. I'd be so fatigued from it. It was almost like a sentence of, you've got to go to bed. It was like constant bed rest. Now, when we mentioned to the doctor that this had started not long after I'd taken Getarel, he went, no, it can't be Getarel. It can't be caused by the pill. No way. And we'd changed halfway through from the low dose to the high dose because it had worked wonders for getting rid of my cramps and sorting my periods and my PMS. But there was still like a couple of niggles that we wanted to see if a higher dose would do it, and that just made it 1,000 times worse for my asthma. So eventually me and my mum decided that it would be worth the risk of having my low lows and my high highs and the horrendous cramps and just getting on with it for the sake of finding out if this was what was causing my asthma. Less than a month off of it, my reactions subsided. I was back to normal within 3-4 months. The conclusion was, yes, it was the Getarel. And when we said this to the doctor, they go, it can't be. And it's only now people are taking me serious when I say, well, it's not the first time I've had a reaction to something weird. I've had reactions to asthma medications that are one in, I think it's 500,000 have a reaction to, you know, and I would react to them. I am that really stubborn human that doesn't like chemicals at all. And then we realised if you take it back another 2.5 years, back to when I was on Rivagon, that the same thing had occurred in a different manner. So it started off really, really well. It evened me out for about a year. And then all of a sudden, it started reacting slightly weird. And we think at that time my hormones must have adjusted. And they'd settled out a little bit. My period cramps were gone. But I'd always had like my high highs and my low lows with it. And I'd never really questioned it too much. Until one day it just collapsed and subsided and all hell broke loose and we pulled me straight off of it. And it went away straight away. Within a month it was gone. None of these high highs and low lows. My cramps were back, but they put me on stronger painkillers and I just got on with it. And we realised that the same thing had actually been happening with that, acting like a super depressant and super highs. Like, if that makes sense. And now I've discovered, despite the fact that I'm on a pill with very, 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 very few side effects, like I've got like but less than an A3 sheet of side effects and information on this pill that comes with the box. I'm having a side effect that's not listed, but is on lots and lots of forums. And I feel like at this point, it should be something we should be speaking about, because I'm really thankful I'm good at recognizing this, and I've been doing this a really, really long time, so I always keep a really close check on my health. And if there's something slightly askew, I go, why? Because I've had to. You know, I came off of low estrogen because it was giving me severe fatigue. And everyone kind of went, it can't be giving you fatigue. It can't be the pill. I went, there's the pill, trust me, it's the pill. And they let me change it, and the fatigue went. I told them that my extra joint pain was because of my pill, and they went, nah, that doesn't cause extra joint pains, you shouldn't be having extra joint pains, and I'm like, that's the pill. Came off that, my joint pain subsided again. You know, I've got really used to noticing patterns in timelines because I've had no choice. So when this pattern and timeline fit so well, I went, shit, this is what's causing it, I need to get this out of my system. I can't do that till I see my doctor. I've been on this pill less than a month. This will be my 4th week, just. I took my first pill in my 4th week yesterday. So in less than a month, it's already causing side effects. So those who say, don't worry, it'll settle out, give it a couple of months. If there are side effects like I have had, pay no attention, tell them, look, I don't think this is worth working. If you've got other options, try other options. Don't stick to something that's going to make you worse. I started taking the pill in, I believe it would have been the 25th of February-ish. It's February. Back end of February. And less than a week later, I found myself in A&E. I was home alone. I live in a flat on my own without my family. I just have a tenant who was out. And I was in my flat, and all of a sudden I got super dizzy. And I didn't think too much of it at first. I was like, okay, I'm feeling sick and a bit dizzy. I'll lay down, let myself go back to normal. That usually does it, and I'll continue. I used to faint a lot when I was in primary. I fainted a couple of times in high school. I fainted once in my adult life prior to this, and that was from complete fatigue and exhaustion of my own body. Basically, I just worked far too much over a weekend, and I just completely and utterly devastated my system. It just had enough, and it was just like, you need to sleep. I'm done with you. You need to sleep. So to faint, if I've had a tough week, which I had, it wasn't unusual, so I didn't think too much about it. I just got on with it. 5 minutes later, though, I blacked out on my kitchen floor. And when I say blacked out, I mean I fully blacked out. So I'd fainted once. I then totally blacked out for about 5 minutes. I got up. I thought, okay, well, maybe I just tried to do too much too quickly. I'm going to go lay down. Laid down for half an hour, got back up, started moving. Blacked out again. At which point I called an ambulance. The ambulance staff were considerably worried because it's common for people to faint. It's not common for people to faint and then lose control over their lower legs. Now I had hyperextension of the ligaments in my knee joints. I'm currently going through the process of being diagnosed with hypermobility, which has, it's not gotten any better over time. They blamed the hypermobility part when I was younger as being just, you're just young, it's just extra stretch, it's fine. It'll all tighten up in the end. Well, I'm here to say it hasn't, and I'm now getting diagnosed at 19. But I ended up going to the hospital. They couldn't find anything. They said, take it easy, a couple of days off. So I had to take a couple of days off uni that I didn't want to take off because at long last I'd finally, got my hormones under control, and I was finally not feeling totally fatigued or exhausted or super stressed out. I didn't feel like I was going to explode or break down and cry, and I didn't feel depressed or anxious. And all of a sudden I've been told, you've got to stop and take it easy and stay in the house. And I'm like, really? But I did as I was told, and I felt fine. Less than a week later, I came back. I'd gone home, and I'd come back down again. And I got a dizzy spell in uni. And it wasn't a bad dizzy spell, it was just a dizzy spell. I sat down for a minute, let my body sort itself out, continued on, got on with my day. End of, sorted. All finitoed. Roll on another week, and I'd been sat doing rabbit work all day. I went to go stand up. My legs buckled underneath me, my hip partially dislocated. I felt extremely nauseous, extremely dizzy. Thankfully, I couldn't actually move. So I just sat down, so I just kind of put my head on the desk, let it pass, and then continue my day. And today, I've just blacked out again on my kitchen floor. Not for anywhere near as long as the first time round. It would have been a minute at max. My food was still piping hot, so it couldn't have been long at all. And now I feel exceptionally fatigued. I've got cold shivers currently. I'm going to have to go to bed in a minute because I'm absolutely exhausted now. And it's kind of put my thought track going, why is this happening? What am I doing that's different to what I was doing 2 months ago before this was a month ago before this was happening? And the only thing that's changed is my Cerazette. And I thought, okay, can Cerazette cause fainting then? And I googled it. And it's on the forums. The same forums that told me that Milinette can cause joint issues. The same forums that told me low estrogen can cause major fatigue. The same forums that have proven that Rivagon can cause extra highs and extra lows if your hormones already jump up and down. If you have an extra high day, the chances that it's going to peak it and trough it is kind of pretty common. It's not a common side effect, but it's not unheard of. And the fact that the doctors don't know this concerns me. That they're not necessarily common side effects, but they're not unheard of, and they still don't realize they're there. I'm 19, I've had 8 years experience at this game. And if your daughter or granddaughter or yourself, as you go through this as a teenager, or even as an adult in later life, and all of a sudden your hormones go completely haywire, stop and do yourself a ginormous favor. Go buy yourself a notebook. I would highly recommend a dark degree notebook because you'll find it a lot easier for keeping tables. Download Flow, or I think the other one I use is Clue. They're period trackers. Start tracking it. If I would say anything, if it's really getting weird, download LifeSum. LifeSum is a calorie and exercise tracker. It's what I've been using for the last 2 years. It's how I know my calorie intake's not changed enough for that to be affecting. It's how I know that for the last 2 years my calories have been perfectly fine for what I've been doing. If you are really, really struggling with it, take that notebook and transfer all your information across. I would recommend doing this once a month. Start tracking your moods, any symptoms that might be weird. You might not think about it a lot of the time, but if you start thinking about it, you're going to start noticing it. When are you getting tired? if you don't necessarily feel tired, but maybe you don't realize it because you don't think going to bed at 8:30 is particularly weird if you're tired, track it. You might find there's a pattern. It may seem like a lot of work, and for a lot of people it's a big waste because they'll find a pill that works for them within the first year and that's it, they're sorted for the next 4, 5, 6 years and they have no problem. But you could end up being a me. You could be your daughter, granddaughter, or yourself could be a me. You could have spent 8 years with the NHS fighting it out to find some form of solution, fighting out for 7 years to get any blood tests done, fighting out for the last 8 years waiting to be able to get a cervical smear to find out if there's something going on down there because they won't even check. It wasn't until I was 17 and this asthma was an issue that I said, you've got to do something. I can't cope anymore. When they finally listened and went, okay, we'll check, because I had to pull myself off all my pills, and I spent 4 months off pills for the sake of them doing a couple of blood tests that they didn't even check everything on. The only way for you to deal with the NHS when you do not fit in a pretty box is to fight your heart out. I think the NHS are an amazing set of people. They are wonderful. They give so much time and energy to make sure we're all healthy and happy and well. And I have never had an issue with the NHS with anything else. I went to them with my legs again and they went, okay, we'll get you a bunch of appointments for that. And that's been sorted and they've all been booked. And I'm just waiting for my letters from the specialists. That was one appointment. My hormones are a bit of a difference because they don't fit in a box. They'll never fit in a box. Hormones will never fit in a box. Same as anxiety and depression will never fit in a box. And they will just keep handing you pills until they run out of ideas. I have spent £300 this year alone on specialists and private doctors because I'm getting nowhere with the NHS and I've had to bash my way through it. And I've finally made it through it, and now I can honestly say that I had a 12-month plan. Less than a month after the appointment, I'm on a 9-month plan. And I'm terrified that at the end of next week, that 9-month plan, when we swap, might turn into a 6-month plan in the next month. I am severely fighting my way through this. It's not, a lot of people see it, it's just hormones, get on with it. You're female, it's what you're supposed to do. They don't see the side effects that it can give you. They don't see the passing out or the nausea, the cramps. They don't see the mood swings. They don't see the random crying over something cute or getting angry at a door handle that's decided it's gonna jam. They don't deal with the random cravings at midnight for gherkins and peanut butter and all that jazz that they think is just from pregnant women. It's not. And I so wish it was, because right now, sat in my position, I'm 19 now, I'm at university, and I'm now starting to question things that I never questioned before. This is at least my ninth or 10th pill. I'm at least in double figures on my pills now. And I'm starting to question, because I am that bit older, can I have kids? Am I fertile? Am I able to carry kids? If I can have kids, can I carry them to term on my own? Or will I need crazy assistance? Will this cause crazy depression? Will this cause more complications than it's worth? Will I have fertility issues? With my hypermobility, will, by the time I have kids, I be able to still run around with them? Will I be able to do that? And I wish I knew. And the really sad thing is, I want kids, and I've always wanted kids. But if I have kids right now, they will not stop my hormones until I'm over 50. If I went and had my 2 or 3 children right now, over the next 4 years, and said, fuck it, and I made it through, they will not tie my tubes. They will not take my ovaries out. They will not stop me having my periods and removing the thyroid and all the other parts that cause the issue. Because they tell me I'm too young and I should be a fertile woman. That should be a choice. And it angers me. Because I'm about to go back to the doctor tomorrow and I'm terrified. I'm terrified of the results of the smear. I'm terrified that they're going to go, yeah, you should be off the Cerazette instantaneously, because if you're passing out, that means your blood pressure's all over the place. You know, I'm terrified that they're going to say one day, no, you can't have kids. Or you're going to have fertility issues and you can't necessarily get pregnant easily. I'm terrified that I'm not going to be able to give my mom and my grandparents great-grandchildren. You know, Mum's been saying for the last 2 or 3 years, oh, I can't wait to hear little pit-pats of feet and buy adorable Disney clothing for him. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And having to think ahead my whole life, especially now as a 19-year-old, I don't want kids maybe till I'm 23, 24, but I don't know if I can wait 5-6 years. It might not be a possibility, and it sucks. So for those out there who think that they're getting side effects from the pill, speak up. Ignore the doctors if you have to. Say, I want to see if it is. I want to come off of it for X amount of time to see if this is what's causing it. If it is, we'll change your pill. Don't let them pick and decide how you live your life. So, yeah.